and then trying to actively practice something different to rewire those neurons in my head that make me keep pushing and keep striving. And so practicing no in a very different way intentionally. But then this is what makes it hard because, my decision to skip the inauguration, what people don't realize, or my decision to make choices at the beginning of this year that suited me were met with such ridicule and criticism. Like people couldn't believe that I was saying no for any other reason, that they had to assume that my marriage was falling apart. Right. It's like, while I'm here really trying to own my life and intentionally practice making the choice that was right for me, and it took everything in my power to not do the thing that was right or that was perceived as right, but do the thing that was right for me. That was a hard thing for me to do.
Imagine doing something that would be right for yourself as a woman. Imagine that. I mean, but the double standard that our misogynistic country has for us women, and double it for independent women, and then add another layer for Black women. How dare Michelle Obama decide to skip the inauguration of the short-fingered, orange vulgarian, convicted felon who questioned her husband's nationality and constantly mocked her? What, she should just take it and show up and play along? My name is Suri Crowe, and you're watching the MeidasTouch Network. But yeah, that's exactly what our effed up society expected from the former First Lady, especially after she stood in the gap and warned millions of us about what a clear and present danger Donald Trump posed if he were to get back into the White House. And she was right, like beyond right. 92% of Black women voted for Kamala Harris. So when Michelle Obama decided to stay far, far away from the event that proved to be worse than horrible, and I really felt pain for President Biden and Vice President Harris and President Obama on that awful inauguration day, she was then raked across the coals. MAGA spreading rumors of her marriage being on the rocks, gossip rags saying that the former President Obama was having an affair. Just despicable, disgusting, all lies. The Obamas are locked in and doing just fine, by the way, especially when you consider that Donald Trump has openly cheated on all three of his wives, has been credibly accused of sexually assaulting women while he has been married, and whose own wife cannot stand to be near him. Just the freaking hypocrisy of it all. But right-wing culture, as I have reported many times before, flaunts a brand of misogyny and racism, and their favorite targets are strong, independently minded women. I thought that former RNC chair Michael Steele and now MSNBC host really nailed the whole MAGA mindset in this clip. Listen in.
The reality of it is, and what struck me was the fact that she even had to address it so publicly. No is no. I don't want to go to the inauguration. I don't want to be there. And the fact that the next thing to come after that is, oh, well, this must be something wrong with your marriage. I'm like, okay, so are you high? I mean, what, really? That's your go-to after a woman tells you no, or anyone tells you no? Why does she have to go on a national platform and justify it? Why do the Obamas then on the back end have to come back and say, look, we good. Y'all are the problem. And so I think part of what Michelle is sort of leveling up is creating that disconnect for her that is part of her own mental health and her own sense of, okay, I did a job for 8 years for the country. And there were times where I wanted to walk away. I wanted to scream. I wanted to shout. But the job required more of me. And I did it. And even in this moment now, outside of that job, you still do not appreciate that. You still want to treat me as something you or someone you can control with your hate, with your anger, with your lies, and your own disruption. And so to see her break that so profoundly by saying, no, I'm not going. I'm not sitting up there and pretending. that this is normal and that this is right and this is good, I thought was very healthy. So, kudos to her, and more should learn to do that. I know a few Republicans that could probably learn a lesson to how to break away from stupid.
I mean, Michael Steele, why is she so triggering? Like, why did the right lose not even the right, why did MAGA lose their mind that she wasn't there?
For the same reason they lose their mind over Hillary Clinton, the same reason they lose their mind over any woman that has self-expression and leadership, and can stand on her own 2 feet. What do? You want to tear it down. Remember, you're talking about a MAGA Republican Party now that are leveling up. We want women pregnant. We want you to have more babies, right? Know your place. We are a part of the bro culture. So men are the defining expression of who our culture and our society is, and women. So yeah, when you see a strong woman, we've seen the reaction of Donald Trump. We've seen the reaction of a number of folks in this space. So it doesn't surprise me. We've seen it now for 50 years. Going back to beyond the 1980s. And so I just think it's an important milestone step. And that is really an expression of a lot of other things that have degraded within my party. That a party devoid of female leadership, female voices, that are helping to direct a nation that is 52% female. And so, we should not be surprised by any of this.
The Republican Party, in my opinion, has always been, from way back in the day, but even more so now that the MAGA cult is running it, is about controlling women. Yep, we're just supposed to be breeder cows, quiet and just nodding along, nodding our heads to the men in charge. Yes, and notice that any woman in the MAGA cult to be accepted must be blindly loyal from propaganda. Barbie Caroline Leavitt, whose name, by the way, I mispronounced on purpose, to Pam Bondi, who is willing to abandon all pretenses of following the rule of law. Because in Trump world, all that matters is loyalty to dear leader. The other thing, a MAGA bro culture is always pushing their stupid, toxic masculinity, the bro culture. And the Trump regime has eradicated women from positions of leadership everywhere. In the military, and replaced qualified, decorated women. Remember, Pete Hegseth has removed all 4 stars from the Pentagon with unqualified men who demand makeup studios, have chronic drinking problems, and what I would refer to as hysterical behavior problems. Look at him in this clip.
This is what the media does. They take anonymous sources from disgruntled former employees, and then they try to slash and burn people and ruin their reputations. Not going to work with me, because we're changing the Defense Department, putting the Pentagon back in the hands of warfighters, and anonymous smears from disgruntled former employees on old news doesn't matter.
Just 10 minutes ago, I was looking at actual war plans of things that were ongoing or pending things to happen. What was shared over Signal then and now, however you characterize it, was informal, unclassified coordinations for media coordination and other things. That's what I've said from the beginning. Same people keep leaking. There were a series of serious leaks. And so we looked for leakers. The leakers know who they are. When we had leaks, leak investigation, leaking, leaker, leaking, leaks, leaking, leaks, leaking, leakers. Once a leaker, always a leaker. Leaking is not okay. I don't have time for leakers.
You don't have time for leakers. You are the leaker. You're the one who leaked this.
That's the tough guy warrior. I mean, he's always like, the warriors, we're going to get back to the warrior mentality. I would no sooner trust Pete Hegseth on a battlefield than I would a toddler driving me down a freeway. And again, the tough guys all wearing makeup. Trump, who tries to act so masculine, is an obese, out of shape clown orange makeup wearing freak, and the Chinese can't stop trolling JD Vance for his apparent urges to pop a smoky eye.
Slap on that wig like your ex is watching. From who is she? To them. Who is she? Made in China, baby.
Which is hilarious. And no, I will not apologize for laughing about it. Because see, most of us on the left don't give a shit if JD Vance wants to wear his smoky eyeliner. But they are the cult that has stigmatized and targeted drag queens and the LGBTQ community, to include doing away with the hotline for the LGBTQ community. They are the ones causing harm. So the utter hypocrisy of everything that MAGA does is what is so gross and blatantly harmful.
The lesson is not what the Republicans are doing. The lesson is what Michelle Obama and women like her are saying and are doing to break away from that.
Nicole, can I just add one point?
Sure.
It's that, Melania Trump was not on the campaign trail with Donald Trump the entire time. Okay. And no one suggested that Melania Trump was not doing her duty. And so for me, this is an example of something that we've seen out of the Trump administration. It's just for me, but not for thee. So it's okay for us to do something, right? But it's not okay for you. It's okay for us to, cut corners and, hoard all the money and do all these things and ignore the judges and ignore the courts and not do what the law enforcement folks say we should do. But it's not okay for you. It's okay for us not to pay our bills and pay our taxes, but you, taxpayer, student loan borrower, we are going to garnish your wages, withhold your federal funds, anything that is due to you, because we can. And it's the cruelty is the point.
It is the cruelty that is always the point with them. That's my point. JD Vance wants to rock a smoky eye, and Pete Hegseth in his makeup and powder room, and Trump in his shoe lifts and his orange clown makeup. But they're the ones that are mocking drag queens. Like, hello? The freaking hypocrisy of this fascist cult, the cruelty of them. And now more than ever, we must use our female voices and lock arms, because they are trying to silence anyone who is calling their fascist bullshit out. Even federal judges, as in today, when the FBI arrested federal judge Hannah Dugan, whom I believe knows the law backwards and forwards over corrupt Pam Bondi, who has sold her soul to the MAGA cult and Donald Trump. And I believe that Judge Dugan will be vindicated in the long run. We, as women and as strong, independent women, we are stronger than they are. Know it, believe it, and use your power. I will see you back here soon, and I hope to see you on my Substack and on my socials. All right? Remember, courage is contagious, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.
Love this video? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch and help us blow past 1 million followers.